right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on with page 7, example 2. You should already be on page 7. And now we're going to look at the importance of that absolute value. Okay. So our letter A says, how does absolute value determine the arrow length for -2? Use the number line provided to support your answer. Well, we talked in lesson 1 that absolute value is signified with those straight lines, and that it is the distance between that number and 0, right? So it's always positive because distance is positive. Even if you walk backwards, you're not going a -2 feet, you're still going 2 feet, right? So we know that if we're going to draw an arrow or a vector for the number -2, it has to be 2 spaces. So therefore, it's 2 spaces to the left because it's negative. But that's how absolute value determines what we need to do with these vectors, is that's how many spaces we have to draw our arrow. All right. So then letter B over on page 8, how does the absolute value determine the arrow length for 3? Again, using that number line. Well, we know that the absolute value for 3 is 3. Okay, we're not going to go the opposite. We're just going to stick with that positive number. Okay, and that arrow length is going to be 3 spaces long because the absolute value of 3 is 3. Because it's a positive 3, we're going to draw our arrow to the right. And again, it's 3 spaces. That's where the absolute value importance comes in. Okay, so then letter C asks us to describe how the absolute value would help us represent -10 on a number line. This time we don't have a number line, we have to use our words. Okay, so we know that the absolute value of -10 is positive 10. Again, it's always positive. Absolute value is always positive, right? So my arrow is going to be 10 spaces long. I just have to figure out what order to, or what direction to put it in, and it's a negative number, therefore it's going to go to the left. So -10 would be shown by an arrow 10 spaces long pointing to the left. All right, that's going to come in handy for us when we do the next example.